This is a video about singing through a mask, whether it be a medical mask or a cloth mask, while wearing one as part of protection protocols like during this COVID-19 pandemic. This is not about the singing technique called mask singing, a term for when a singer maximizes the resonance from their face, the bones and the sinuses and the facial structure, and just trying to resonate as much as they can and vibrate their face. This isn't about mask singing, this is about singing through a mask. Entertainers that sing in senior living facilities like myself are faced with this now. I'm finally playing some inside long-term care homes again, and I'm willing to wear a mask and do this because I want to play for the seniors, I want to work. I've learned it's not that easy. In fact, it's more than just singing with a mask on. There are some issues, and it might be harder than you first think. At the very least, there are techniques that you have to add. Interestingly, I've had some conversations with managers who've told me there are reluctant entertainers, those that won't sing through a mask. They won't sign any corporate documents saying that there are restrictions or protocols, probably the same ones that complain about vaccines. Well, that's more work for me, I guess, but I do agree, singing through a mask isn't ideal, but it's not a big deal either. I'm going to be demonstrating with a microphone that's turned on. I have a little bit of reverb. I'll be working the microphone differently than one normally does. And when I mean working the microphone, that's, as you probably know, working in and out of the microphone, adjusting your distance for dynamics. So we're required to sing through masks because singing projects spittle. As any singer knows, anybody sitting in the front row knows, spittle can potentially be a disease vector. Even though I'm fully vaccinated and I'm regularly tested, it's just a necessary extra step of protection for me to sing through a mask. Hopefully these are temporary measures, but they're good lessons for the future. So let's just learn from this. The physical act of singing or talking through a mask causes it to slip down, as you know. I've identified 4 reasons why the mask slips down. Firstly, the jaw, the lower jaw, is going down and up and down and up, and it pulls against the mask. The second reason, any stubble, and I've left a little bit for demonstration, any stubble or just your skin will cause resistance against the texture of the mask, and it's like Velcro pulling. Then there's a little bit of gravity assist to this as well, probably not much, but it is pulling down. And the fourth reason is there's insufficient resistance at the bridge of the nose holding the mask up. I have a little clip in my medical mask. Maybe I should upgrade. I play guitar and sing, and so my hands are busy. And I'm not able to just adjust my mask anytime I want. So it comes down to carefully timed movements. Sometimes if my mask is down and I try to find little breaks or pauses in the song where I can quickly pull up my mask. It's easier when you're playing without a pick, you have all your fingers, but if you are using a pick, then you end up pulling up the mask with these 2 fingers here. A little less natural than using your thumb and forefinger. Regardless, repeatedly touching the mask is another vector. During my first shows with a mask, I was learning how many corrections were necessary, sometimes 6 or 8 fixes during a song, and I would play 20 songs per show on average. So that's upwards of 160 corrections per show. So when you're not supposed to be touching your face, it kind of defeats the purpose. Even if that's an overestimate, even if you have better success, it's still a lot of fumbling with your mask. So I began thinking about this while I was playing, trying to come up with some ideas to help. My ideas are not infallible. You will still have to correct your mask a couple of times during a show, but it's better. Singing through a mask, for me, starts with your microphone choice. And as a singer and guitar player, I have to use stolen moments to fix the mask. So this factors in. I'm using a round-headed microphone for a reason. This is a Shure SM58, very standard microphone, and I'm putting on my pop filter. Other microphones that don't have external pop filters might not work for this technique. So what I'm specifically doing is I'm going to rest my nasal septum against the top of the microphone. That's the cartilaginous division between your nostrils. Most of us have one. By pressing gently and controlled against the microphone, the texture of the pop filter against the texture of the mask holds it in place. Especially if you have a schnozola like me. This is stationary singing. You can't be bouncing or wiggling or dancing. It has to be controlled movements, a steady distance, gently holding your nose against the microphone. So your distance is fixed. You're not working the microphone, but you can still move in and out. If you're not singing, you can still step back. Just have to be careful that you don't pull the mask off. And when you come back in, just do so gently and measured. One's amplifier has to be adjusted for close distance singing. I have it turned down a little bit, obviously, so that there's no clipping. But there's going to be less clipping anyway because you're singing through the pop filter and the mask. It's another form of pop filter. You might learn to like this controlled, consistent distance method. And you can't be shy about your voice, obviously. If you're going to be in tight, people are going to hear you, you're going to hear yourself, and you have to learn to like your own voice. There are some types of singing that do have close proximity singing all the time, like heavy metal singers are right in the microphone. And there are dancers and drummers that have headsets on, and those are at a fixed distance. In fact, the word crooning is about singing into a microphone, getting in close and intimate. So the pop filter will help prevent the pop as you're in tight singing, and it will help reduce slippage from the mask. And another thing too is it's washable. I can take this off and I can clean it in between shows. If you've ever sang into one of these at an open mic, it's kind of gross. You have to adjust your microphone stand to the correct height so that your nose just easily rests against the microphone. I'm using a boom stand so that I have space for my body and the guitar. And in between songs, you can correct your mask, you can get comfortable, find some relief, have a drink. You don't want to have a runny nose into your microphone. Obviously, you wouldn't be playing at a senior facility if you had one. And then regarding hyperventilating, you're still getting enough oxygen, I assure you. I haven't passed out during a show, not yet anyway. You're breathing the air around you, and I know the flow feels impaired and it's warm on the face and it's humid. It's kind of stifling, a little bit uncomfortable, but the oxygen is still going through your mask through osmosis. It's still around you. That is how I've learned to sing through a mask, and I try to keep myself and my audiences safe. If you've learned anything else about singing through a mask and have any other tips or pointers, please chime in below. In the meantime, I hope you get out and have some fun singing some songs. Stay safe, everybody.